Hello everyone. Welcome once again to the Unscripted show. Don't even think you know what we're talking about because this is where everything goes as the spirit flows because it is completely unscripted.
Amazing people. We're excited to be here again today, and my name is Derry, and with me on the show today is
Tosin Shosonya is my name.
Amazing. And today is going to be super exciting. I mean it. You know, we've been dealing with a couple of topics in the past few weeks, but today we want to deal with a topic that we know that is really, really, really essential for every one of us. Everyone, Tosin. Everyone.
Everybody. Because everybody in life goes through seasons. Nature goes through seasons.
Yes, guys.
It doesn't matter where in the world you are, you have at least 2 seasons. Whether it is the rainy season or the dry season, or in some parts of the world like where we are, where you have 4 seasons.
4 seasons of the year, guys.
4 seasons of the year. You have the winter, the fall, the summer, the spring, and we're so happy now.
Yeah, we're excited. It's springtime. The greens are out. The trees are
During
waving,
the spring.
and I am springing. I'm springing.
But there's something peculiar to all of the seasons, and that is waiting. Derry, waiting.
Super relatable, right? Everything in life goes through that period of waiting. You know, you're pregnant, you wait to have a baby. You want to, pass to another level in school, you have to wait through the process of examinations. Nature, and there's a sage that I listen to. I call him my sage, Jim Ron. He would say that, whether we like it or not, seasons will come and seasons will go. But how do we go through the seasons? A lot of us look forward to some seasons more than some seasons. We're excited about some seasons and we're not excited about some seasons. For us in Canada, for instance, we are super excited to embrace the spring season because we know the greens will come out. You see the trees come out in their bloom.
It's just life.
There's
just life all around you.
It's sweet. Right, it is sweet, it's amazing. But the same trees that you're seeing right now would also still go through winter. They'll go through fall. All the leaves that you see right now will fall to the ground.
Let me
and they'll go.
Going through the seasons. I'm actually running a coaching program on seasons and on transitions. That's
amazing.
But we said something about winter. Do you know one fascinating thing I discovered about winter? When all the leaves, these luscious looking trees right now, they are dry, they wilter, practically wilter they look dead.
Yeah.
They look practically dead. But guess what? I learned that in my research that during winter, the snow and all the ice and all the things that were actually is a period for the water table under the earth to recover.
Amazing. So, what Tosin is saying in essence is that, when we go through the winter seasons, because whether we like it or not, winter will always come. Winter will always come. But how do we go through it? When we go through winter, it's not a dead end, as it were. It's a process of transition. It's a process of change. It's a process of transformation. But while you're transforming to the world around you, it may not look like it, but things are happening within. But what you make of the things happening within is what matters, guys. Tosin, that there are people just like us right now going through a whole lot of things, in their lives. We have people who have lost loved ones. It's a season. You have people who have lost jobs. We've been through it, guys. We're not just talking about things we haven't experienced. We've been through it. You have people who have lost jobs. We're just here to encourage you that you're not alone in this. You're going through a season, and we're going to be discussing some of the things that we have learned through seasons of our lives, that have helped us, and how you can incorporate that through your seasons. You are not alone. We are with you, Tosin.
And that's why we call this episode Winning in Waiting.
Amazing. WIW, guys.
WIW. Winning in Waiting.
Yeah.
So, Derry, how do you win in waiting?
In the first place, what is waiting?
Yeah.
I think we need to start from, the waiting, word. What is waiting? Waiting is that period where everything seems to be unclear. In waiting, sometimes you may not know exactly how the next thing or next step is going to unfold.
I guess that's the whole essence of waiting. You don't know what's happening next.
Sometimes
you know, but you don't even know how it's going to happen.
Yeah,
you don't know what,
mm-hmm.
or you don't know
where
how,
or where,
or when.
Yeah,
or when.
Yeah, so it's a season of uncertainty, right? It looks like you're grappling, in darkness. You're, I'm gonna give you an example of a personal example. For instance, I lost my job a couple of months ago, and I told someone, I think I mentioned it to you too, that the day I dreaded most, I dreaded then waking up on Monday mornings. Why? Because I'm somebody who is so used to having everything planned out, knowing what I want to do. Okay, I have a meeting at 10, at 12, at 3, in between, I'm fixing things in there. And then all of a sudden, I don't have all that, the regimen, the routines that I've, created for myself. And it became so hard for me to wake up. On Monday mornings, I'm like, how am I going to plan? What am I going to do in this whole week? Right. So maybe some of you are out there, you're really confused about the life you're living right now. You don't know what the next step to take. You don't even know. You've tried all, like some of us, Tosin will tell you a whole lot too, and it seems as if, it seems not to be working. We're here to just let you know you're not alone. We're together. You're going through the season. You
are not alone.
Yeah, I remember. God, well, we are here with you. Yeah, we're here with you, really. So don't be dismayed, right? Hold on through it. So waiting is that period where you're uncertain. You're working, right? You're doing things, but you're just uncertain of the outcome of where you are. Or maybe you're going through, you've lost a loved one and you don't know how you're going to go through life without them. You don't know the how. Like Tosin said, there's the how, the when. For some of us, you don't know when the next job will come. For some of us, you don't know how the next job will manifest. You've tried all that you can do, but it's not just, yielding results. And you're like the tree in winter, wondering, oh my God, where are all the leaves? I'm empty. I'm opened. I'm exposed. But like Tosin said, we also found out that even in winter, things can also still be happening. Things are happening in nature.
Things are actually happening
in nature.
Things are actually happening because during spring, during summer, the trees keep sucking up the water. But during winter, the water gets replenished.
Amazing.
So the earth rests. It's a resting season.
Hibernation period. Amazing.
And then all the snow and all the ice goes back to replenish the water table. You see, so sometimes a waiting period is a reset so that you can rest for the rest of your season.
Amazing. So guys, waiting period is a reset.
It's a reset
so that you can rest for the rest of the season. Guys, reset period. Waiting.
That's tweetable. You should tweet that. And
tag us. Yeah, tag us.
It's a reset so that you can rest
for the rest of the season.
Also, waiting period is like, because this is the understanding I got. Like Darren said, this is something we are going through, we've gone through.
Yeah.
So we're not just teaching you, or we're not just talking about things that we don't know what we're saying. And this is not textbook. This is not just a religious talk.
No.
This is practical. This is pragmatic.
Yeah.
Okay. So waiting period, what I learned is, trust me, it's not the most convenient or something, the most exciting period of your life. It's not something you're looking forward to.
Ask me, guys.
But I think we should all dwell in the comfort of the fact that the analogy God gave to me is like an archer or a boy trying to shoot the catapult or an arrow, and then you get pulled back.
To get the strength to strike forward.
To hit the target. So sometimes when God has a target for you to hit in your next season, and he knows that you don't have he creates a tensile strength. It's tense. A tensile strength that pulls you back. as far as you need to go back. Sometimes it's so farther back, and like, what's happening here?
But Tosin, talking about going
Sorry,
back for
but
you.
let's go back.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that you can shoot further.
Yeah.
You go further back so that you can shoot further. Yes, there we go.
Yeah. Talking about going back, it's so interesting. For some people, I don't know who we're talking to today, you may need to go back to your core. Yeah. It's a period of retrospecting. Right?
A lot of that.
You're introspecting, you're retrospecting, looking at the last couple of months, last couple of years, in that period. That's why we said things can happen and things are happening. So it's a period you go back to yourself. Like the prodigal son, going back to himself, and getting to know that, ooh, I'm more than where I am right now. I can go back home. Right? And like, some of us may have to go back to things we did before. Some of us have lost the essence of who we are in the process of getting, what we want, of doing life. Yeah, we've lost the essence of who we really are. So it's a funnel down period where you get to the core of who you are. I'm telling you from experience. In my season of waiting, like I said, I lost my job at some point. And it actually took me back to who I really am. One of the things that period birthed is this show that we have right now. Being able to actually put my, collaborate with my friend, of course, to bring this to you in the waiting period. And there has been nothing more fulfilling than coming together to ensure that other people are blessed, for me. And it's also a period where I went back to realizing that, I love people. So I went back to my core of people-centeredness. So what are the things that, God has deposited inside of me, the talents that is me, that nobody can take away, that I can actually, refine and use in this period to bless other lives. And sincerely, it's a funnel down period. It's a retrospective period. It's a period where, we go back to our core. Tosin.
What Darren is saying is that waiting period is not an idle season. It's a period, or is a time to get on a journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, and if I must say, reinvigoration.
Invigoration, I like that. Getting, the strength.
You have to be reinvigorated. You have to be renewed. Self-renewal is a self-renewal period. It's sometimes, we get caught up, like Dane was saying, in doing life. I don't want to use the word hustle, in being busy, that we don't even know that our soul needs rest. We're so, we live in a noisy world that we can't even be quieted down to hear what our spirit is saying, or what God is saying,
or what our body is saying,
or what our body is saying.
The bodies could be telling you a whole lot of things and we are not listening to it.
So your body is speaking, God is speaking, your soul is speaking, your destiny is speaking, but you can't hear because you're busy making money.
And some of us, our families are saying,
your family is speaking as well. Your husband, your kids are speaking, but we're busy making money, we're busy making impact, we're busy influencing, you're busy doing stuff that you can't even hear the more important things in life. So waiting also helps you come to a period where you're quiet. But some of us get caught up in what is the next thing to do? What should I be doing? How do I do this? But that's not the essence of waiting.
And then some of us get into pity party during waiting period. We bury ourselves away. We get there. Bury ourselves away.
We get there. So we're saying that take this moment, or take whatever moment of waiting that you might be going through as a moment of self-discovery. Go on a journey of self-discovery, of self-awareness, and listening more. Before I get into pity party, one important thing that we should all take note of is communication. Now, I will explain. Don't get me wrong. It's not a period to talk to everybody and anybody. I understand, because you don't want to start you just, like Dane was saying, you don't want to be the crybaby. You're always mourning, because sometimes you get into that trap of have you seen what God is doing? Life is not lifing. Things are not going the way they should go. No, it's not a time to start groaning and moaning at everyone and anyone you see, because sometimes it gets in that temptation. Guys, I need a job, will help me. No, But we need to communicate. Now, I explain what kind of communication I'm talking about. We are tempted because of the way we feel to cut away from God.
Yeah.
God is the last person you want to talk to sometimes when you go through some level of waiting.
Oh, you can ask me. And believe me, if you're in that stage in life, you are not, you're not weird, right?
Yeah, you're not judged.
You're just human.
You're just
right?
being normal.
You're just being normal. We all go through, and probably we will still go through. But it's
sorry. Sometimes you want to give God the bombastic side. Like, if you cannot see me the way I am and help me, leave me. If you leave me the way I am. But the truth is, we have learned that is the number one person or entity that you should be communicating with in this season.
Yeah, so
it's not easy.
In the waiting period,
it's not easy.
In the waiting period, learn to continue to connect with God.
Oh gosh.
In the waiting period, learn to continue to connect with God.
If you want to get out of it faster.
Whatever it is, like I'm always very careful, guys. I don't preach or talk about a microwave season. Sometimes the season is just not 1 month. Sometimes the season is not 6 months. Sometimes it's not 1 year. Sometimes it's not even a couple of years, right? We have people who have been waiting on God for one thing or the other. But the only thing we can tell you is that the best place to be is to be in connections with God. Like the story of the prodigal son that we mentioned, he got back to his senses and he knew that he had to go back home.
So he went
with his father. Back to connect with his father. When Jesus went through his season, even though he had a moment of why have you forsaken me? But yet he said, God, your will be done, not my will, but your will be done. So always, these are our examples. Connection with God in your waiting season is very, very important. And connections with God, yes, it doesn't have to be a 1 hour communication. Keep it simple and sweet, kiss it with God, keeping it simple and sweet. Talk to him, let him know how you feel. Ensure that you surround yourself with things that would connect you with God. If you're not getting it yourself, look for avenues that you can get it through. You're listening to messages, you are worshiping, you're keeping worship music around you. And there's this thing that the devil does to say when you're in your waiting season. He makes you focus on one thing that you want and then lose sight of
every other
several things that are working. Guys, it gives you a sense of inadequacy in your seasons. Let's watch out for that, guys. Watch out for that sense of inadequacies when you begin to see just one problem as the end of the world. And God is there smiling and say, hey guy, your child is well. You have a roof over your head. You're looking good, covered. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you ate before you came.
Needs are met.
Your needs are met. I don't even like to put basic to say needs are met. But you are losing sight because of one thing. So let's watch out for that, guys.
Yeah, and if truly, like Jerry said, if when you look closely, you see that you have a lot of things to be grateful for. And that place you're complaining about is actually some people's dream place to be. I'm going back, honesty. So, I'm going back to the example Jerry made using our Lord Jesus, because this is still Bible backstories. You remember that it wasn't a pleasant communication, but he still communicated. He wasn't complaining to everybody, because that's what some of us do. We complain to everybody and then leave God away.
Yeah.
He said, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? He was still talking. He was ranting.
He didn't tell Tosin, why did God forsake you? No, he went to God.
He went to God.
My Father.
So that's what we're saying, that the communication doesn't always have to be, oh, I love you, God, because we don't always feel that way. Let's be honest. But have a communication all the same with God. Tell him exactly how you feel. Because Bible says we don't have a Lord who does not know, or he's a man of like passion.
Yeah.
He feels what we have felt. He's feeling what we are feeling, and he has felt what we are feeling,
Yeah.
So he's been through this life. He knows what it is like. So we can go back to our Savior who understands, and we can actually tell him exactly how he feels. I learned this really from Jesus. Even when he was praying in Gethsemane, when he was saying, Baba, let me use our own modern terms. Between you and I don't want to do this thing again.
This thing,
I'm not doing.
Forget
Come
that.
and take this cup away from me.
Yeah.
But then Bible says that he had to be strengthened. Encouragement. Yeah. God had to supply him encouragement.
Yeah.
Moses and Elijah came. Angels came and encouraged him. And then it was okay, no my will but yours be done. So guys, let's stop forming super macho, spiritual macho, and feeling like, and because that's why when people crash, they crash because just because they feel like that's the end. I disappointed God, I failed God. But the truth is your strength is small, and that is okay. All we need to go back is for a refilling. We need a renewal of strength. Like we have to come to a place where we can say, God, left for me, I can't do this again. I can't do this anymore.
Guys, we can't talk so much, or we can't stop talking about communications with God because it's the foundation for the strength for this season, right? It's the water that you're going to be drawing from to go through the season, is our strength. But another point to say that I wanted to, bring to fore is the fact that, in our waiting, we should be the change in other people's lives, right? While waiting,
make happen for other people.
Fantastic.
What you want to happen for you.
Fantastic. I remember, to say somebody meeting with me, a couple people, as a matter of fact, meeting with me and saying, oh, Derry, I didn't know you lost your job. You don't even look like it, because Derry is probably, praying with someone, encouraging someone through their seasons that, people seem to, not see that she's also going through, except she talks about it. And of course, I don't hide it from people. Yes, I lost my job, and I've been holding on to God. I've been applying. I'm yet to get another one. I talk to people, guys, but when you're going through this season, be that change in people's lives. I remember, back behind the scene, we were talking about the person of Joseph. Guys, Joseph is one human being that has encouraged us, in this season. You can imagine someone that was born with, coats of many colors, the favorite of the father,
the proverbial
silver spoon in his mouth, and then it was sold daddy's boy sold into slavery in Potiphar's house. It was still okay, but then it was, soon thrown without, him doing anything bad, thrown into prison. And then in prison, he assumed the position of an interpreter of dreams. He interpreted the dreams of people, opening doors for them, telling them how they'll be released without him knowing how he was going to get out.
So, guys, this was a young man full of dreams.
Yeah.
Like literally, and every other way.
Yeah.
He had dreams.
Intelligent too.
His dreams got him into trouble, yeah. But you see, he held on to the dreams. He had dreams.
Actually, his dreams did not get him into trouble. His mouth.
Okay. His mouth. You're right.
Like several of us, guys, God shows us some things before, we are ready. We have it all out, right?
No. Let me tell you how it happens. On your status, he ain't seen nothing yet.
Yay.
Light of the world, don't wake. It's about to happen.
It's okay, right? I know guys are trying to,
you go on Instagram and like, guys, watch out for me. I'm the next big thing happening.
Yeah, it's okay, guys. We can't, like somebody would say, you can't cover your testimony.
So that's the thing.
Let it be
a testimony. Let it be a testimony. Don't make an announcement of something that has not yet arrived.
It will announce itself.
It will announce itself.
So back to Joseph.
Okay, so Joseph. So look at a guy with dreams, whose dreams have not been fulfilled. He went to Potiphar's house, fulfilling Potiphar's dreams in Potiphar's business,
serving,
while waiting for his own dreams.
Serving faithfully.
He rose through the ranks and became the manager or the general manager of Potiphar's estate. Right? But what did he get for it? Was it?
No, he got rewarded.
Now, so that's another thing that happens in waiting season, because while Joseph was waiting for his dreams to be fulfilled, he got rewarded by being thrown into prison. Yeah, it looks bad, it looks evil, but guess what? He was just promoted to the next level of training
of his life.
I'm gonna land. Okay, so he was trained in handling prosperity in Potiphar's house. But when God saw that, okay, guy, you've learned really well.
You passed this level. Move to the next level.
His reward was being sent to the prison.
Next
However,
level.
through some very hideous circumstances, he was framed, but he had to go to prison.
So that tells me that whatever it is you're going through, guys, God always has a plan. He's never out of plan. He's never. Even if it doesn't look like you planned, God, as long as you're within His will, you're His child, He always has a plan.
As long as you are a child of God, you're a son of God, there's something happening that you can't decipher. So he went to the prison and learned how to handle scarcity.
Yeah.
Because even in prison, he was a manager of scarce resources.
Guys, did you hear that? In prison, in Potiphar's house, he learned how to manage abundance, right? In prison, God moved him there to learn how to manage scarcity. And guys, if you look at the two situations, these are the situations that nations go through. You have the season of abundance, you have the season of little, which God was preparing him to get to.
Well, that was why when he got in front of Pharaoh, when it was time for his dreams to be fulfilled, he had been in training. And I call it God's MBA. He went through the MBA of abundance of scarcity, majored in abundance and scarcity management. And then when the time was right, God himself gave Pharaoh a dream.
Yeah.
And made sure he locked the interpretation of that dream from everybody else until Joseph was found.
So that the part that I even want us to amazing revelation to see. The part I want us to focus on is the fact that he fulfilled Potiphar's dream. Then in prison, he had two people that had dreams.
No, I'm coming back there.
They had dreams, right? They had dreams. And then he interpreted their dreams. And their dreams, the interpretation of their dreams was their way of escape and what will happen to them.
And he didn't have a way of escape.
There was no release. He didn't even have a dream about how he would get out. So some of us...
Maybe he had the athletes, he didn't tell us.
It's possible, but I don't think he had. Joseph that I know would have said it, right? Would have mentioned it. Somebody would have had it somewhere, right? But what I'm saying is, maybe in your season, instead of just sitting down and feeling, the pity party, maybe God has sent you to, preach the way of escape to somebody. Maybe that neighbor that has lost a job needs your hand and your experience to know that, he can go through the season, without, failing. Guys, do not hold back the talents that God has put inside of you in your waiting.
I like that, because Joseph could have easily said, guy, what's your problem is not my problem. I have my own problems to deal with. You understand? And he could have said that, rightly so. Like, sincerely, I have my own problem. I got my own problems to deal with.
Yeah.
You deal with your problem. I deal with my problem. But he didn't do that.
Yeah.
What did he do? He solved their problems. He even asked them to remember him. But guess what? They forgot. They forgot it.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you're even doing this good, and the people will not even remember you.
So guys, if you're going through and you've reached out to a couple people that you thought, they helped in the past, they'll be able to help right now, and they are not coming back to you, do not think you are alone. Joseph went through it. And
some will come, some won't.
Someone. I remember, I was telling Tosi, a couple of people that, had reached out to in the past when, some people needed jobs and they responded so, fast, and they were able to help out here and there. But there I was reaching out to them to the extent that I even reached out to the CEO of an organization who responded nicely, but then nothing came out of it. I'm still, I'm here. But what am I saying? God has sent you to someone. Don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
In your waiting season, do not hold back. While we wait through
because
the season.
Eventually, though they forgot Joseph for a season, at the right time he was remembered.
Yeah.
And when he was remembered, all the lessons he had learned from the waiting season was what promoted. Because guess what? Joseph, after interpreting the dream of Pharaoh, he said, find a man. It was like a dare. Like, if the boy you were in this kingdom, find the man who has the capacity and the experience to manage these things. And the Pharaoh had to answer and say, who else? The capacity. So in your waiting season, you're building capacity.
Yeah, so don't sit down.
And you're building experience.
Keep working on yourself.
Exactly.
Keep working on yourself. There's a I always like to talk about, because I've been listening to a lot of Jim Rohn's messages, late, because of course hobby won't allow me to rest. We have to just self development and everything. So Jim Rohn says something that, look, you may not be able to work on the economy because you don't have control over it. You may not be able to work on the organizations around you because you don't have control over them, but you have control over yourself. So build up capacity. While you're waiting, keep building capacity. And part of building capacity is making use of the talent that you have inside of you. So there's a scripture that says that they got better by the reason of use. So get better. Get better. Build yourself up. Use the talent that God has given you. Even if you're not being paid for it, reach out to someone. Sharpen the skill of your core. Sharpen your core. Sharpen who you really are, and get better with it. It's essential for the waiting period.
Exactly.
And there was a scripture that crossed my mind the other time that Job, I think his situation turned around when he prayed for his friends. Job, go and check. Job actually got the situations to turn around after he prayed for his friends. He had situations he was going through, but he did not focus on what he was going through, but he was praying for his friends. Who have you prayed for in this season?
Friends, brothers, sisters, ladies, gentlemen, daddies, mommies, everyone. We're saying that the waiting season, it's not the end.
It's not.
You can win in waiting.
You can win in waiting.
Communicate with God
continuously.
Communicate with the right people. We're going to discuss that next time.
Yeah.
The right people. It's not everyone's you.
Maybe not communicate. Maybe surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah,
it's important for you to know in waiting.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the right kind of people around, because they will help sharpen your skill. They will help you through this season
and make happen for other people what you want to happen for you.
Amazing.
Until we come back your way again. My name is Tosi.
And my name is Derry. And keep winning in waiting.
We love you.
Bye now.
Bye.